I just always wanted to be the most, defined, massive person on stage, but move like smoke in the air, like a ballerina on stage. That was always my goal, was to look just ungodly muscular, but just be able to move just so fluently and gracefully and stuff like that. So
his physique is probably the closest thing to perfection I've ever seen. Honestly, nothing else even comes close.
It was a rough childhood, but molestation. I was molested when I was a kid. I was homeless. As I grew up.
Flex Wheeler. The name alone evokes images of perfection, power, and perseverance. But behind the legendary physique and countless trophies lies a story far more profound. A journey of triumph, tragedy, and unshakable resilience. This is the life of the Sultan of Symmetry.
What was your motive to wanting to go into bodybuilding and martial arts?
Two of those. One, I was just brutally picked on and bullied as a kid, even though back in the 80s wearing Britannium shirts and with the matching belt, you so you got to have arms. So, and 501 jeans, right? That was our gear back then. So it was those two things that got me started.
Kenneth Wheeler was born on August 23, 1965 in Fresno, California. Life from the very beginning was anything but easy. Raised in poverty, Flex faced challenges that would have broken most. Dyslexia made school a daily struggle, and bullying only deepened his feelings of inadequacy. But young Kenneth found an escape, a way to channel his frustration and pain. Martial arts became his sanctuary. With every strike and every move, he discovered discipline, focus, and an untapped potential within himself. Little did he know, his true calling was waiting just beyond the gym doors. By the late 1980s, Flex had stepped into the world of bodybuilding. His genetic gifts were undeniable, a perfectly proportioned physique with a tiny waist and round, full muscle bellies. But beneath his skin, he carried a lot of self-doubt.
I'm an introvert, so normally, introverts are extroverts when they're on stage, So I was always uncomfortable on stage, uncomfortable in my skin. But I learned at a young age, if people find out your weaknesses, they'll use them against you.
In 1989, he claimed victory at the NPC Mr. California, a win that set the stage for his meteoric rise. But it was in 1993 that Flex Wheeler truly arrived. In his rookie year as a pro, he finished second at the Mr. Olympia, pushing the reigning champion Dorian Yates to the brink.
Give it to this year's runner-up, Flex Wheeler.
Well, I felt very dominant against anyone else, and it didn't have to do with size or anything like that.
That same year, he secured his first Arnold Classic title, cementing himself as a force in the sport.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 1993 Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic champion, Flex Wheeler.
Over the next decade, Flex would become a dominant figure in bodybuilding.
In 1993, man, that was the year for Flex. It doesn't get much better than that. He won 4 pro shows, including the Arnold Classic, the Ironman, and the Grand Prix. And honestly, a lot of people, himself included, will tell you that this was one of the best physiques the sport had ever seen. He was on another level, just flawless. But then, 1994 hit, and everything flipped upside down. He got into a car accident, and it was bad. He broke his neck at C5 and C6, shattered his collarbone, and had injuries all over. His head was bleeding, and his ear was literally ripped off. Can you imagine? He went from being at the very top of the world to crashing all the way down to rock bottom physically, emotionally, everything. It was like a roller coaster that wouldn't stop. There were moments when he wanted to give up. But here's the thing about him. He's a fighter. Just 7 months later, he was back. Not just back, but crushing it.
He explained to me the severity of the injuries that I sustained. Then I started saying, well, you know, even if I can't come back, because they wasn't completely sure then, at least I'm still alive, and at least I'm not mangled, and I have all my limbs and everything like that.
He won first place at the IFBB Ironman and then came in second at the Arnold Classic the very next week. 7 months after breaking his neck. Can you believe that? That comeback was nothing short of legendary.
1995 Pro Ironman champion, Flex Wheeler.
Doctors doubted he'd ever walk again. For most, such an ordeal would spell the end of their career, but Flex Wheeler was not like most. Through sheer determination, he defied the odds, returning to the stage stronger than ever. Yet, this was only the beginning of his battles. He won the Arnold Classic 4 times, 1993, 1997, 1998 and 2000, a record at the time. His physique was a masterpiece, often described as a living sculpture. Unlike his competitors, Flex didn't rely solely on mass. His true weapon was his symmetry.
You know, you look at some of the pictures, Flex, it doesn't even make sense what you look like. Now, I think the greatest picture ever taken in bodybuilding, if you ask me, I mean, the greatest picture ever taken in bodybuilding, I don't think there's a better picture than this in bodybuilding. I don't think there is. I think this is by far the greatest picture taken in bodybuilding, where you almost don't think that this looks like a mythical god, like a Greek god from back in the days that David is working on the statue.
Beautiful, thank you.
And this is it, right?
In the late 1990s, Flex faced a new challenge, a rare kidney disease known as focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. Years of intense training, high-protein diets, and the use of performance-enhancing substances had taken their toll. Despite his diagnosis, Flex continued to compete, pushing through pain and uncertainty.
I'm in pain 24 hours a day, even now. It never goes away. Not only the amputee, I have neuropathy in my leg and my hand, so it's just unspeakable pain. So I've been trying all these various different things, and in a hospital, of course, I have them drug me out of my brain just to keep me out of pain. But once I came home, I'm like, I can't do that. I gotta own my brain. You know, I just can't be a zombie.
By 2003, the disease forced him to retire. A kidney transplant saved his life, but marked the end of his competitive bodybuilding journey. In 2019, life tested Flex once again. Complications from vascular issues led to the partial amputation of his right leg. For a man whose entire identity had been built on physical perfection, this could have been devastating. But Flex showed the world what true strength looks like, not in his physique, but in his spirit. He didn't hide. He shared his story, inspiring millions with his resilience and willingness to face life's harshest realities head-on.
I don't want to be known as an athlete. I just want to be known as a person who was decent, who tried to help other people.
Today, Flex Wheeler's legacy transcends bodybuilding. As a mentor, coach, and speaker, he continues to inspire a new generation. His message is clear: life's greatest battles are fought within, and the strongest warriors are those who never give up. Flex Wheeler's story isn't just about muscles and trophies. It's about the human spirit's ability to rise again and again, no matter how many times it's knocked down. Flex Wheeler, a name that will forever symbolize not just the pinnacle of aesthetics in bodybuilding, but the power of resilience and the will to overcome.